and welcome to the Spiritual and Empowerment Living with Tia podcast, a sacred place and resource for spiritually centered women who want to go from the mundane to the magical life, for overcoming fear and doubt, reconnecting with the goddess, understanding messages from spirit, and uncovering your spiritual gifts so you can finally live the life you deserve. Spiritual Trailblazer, welcome back. So as soon as I started recording this, it was 12:34 a.m. In angel numbers, it translates into 1, 2, 3, 4. In other words, keep it simple, which is very fitting for today's episode because it's so easy to overthink this process and to really get caught up in our emotions and our thoughts. So let's keep it simple. Keep it easy. Keep it simple as often as possible. You're ready for change. Now what? Well, this title changed a couple of times. I actually had two other topics I was going to discuss, and it got rearranged twice. And that's okay. Sometimes schedules get pushed back, and I'm not talking about guests, just in general. Actually not in general. This is actually what happened. And sometimes schedules had to get pushed back for various reasons, but it's okay. A little delay just allows you to be prepared just that much more, which leads me to what's going on at Tia headquarters. And I'm still debating the title, headquarter Tia HQ. I don't know. Let me know what you think. Send me an email, tia@tiamariejohnson.com. I'm trying to have something that has a little jingle to it, but whatever. Anyway, there are a lot of things in the pipeline for April. So today is the last day of March. We made it past a year and a few weeks of dealing with this pandemic and now its variants. Lots of people were lost, as in passed away. Some people are still struggling, dealing with things. Some people adapted to this new way of life of wearing masks and being a little bit more hyper, aware, and the list goes on and on and on. So first and foremost, give yourself a small pat on the back, a tight hug, something to just say it's okay. Whatever you're going through, you're not doing this alone. And as of right now, you made it past a year and a few weeks of dealing with this madness. So let's just acknowledge that. All right. Now, back to April. There's a lot going down. I want to say it's going down in the DMs. It's going down in April. I have an announcement I'm going to make tomorrow on my Instagram. Excuse me. So make sure that you go to cosmic_witch_goddess and follow me, get the notification because I'm so excited for this announcement. And you get to be one of the first people to see what it is. I can't wait. Like I said, I've been working on this for a little while. This was actually also pushed back, but sometimes things like that again happen for good reason. And it's actually better that it's coming out now as opposed to, I think it's supposed to come out in like late February, early March, something like that. So anyway, I can't wait to make that announcement tomorrow. It's a long time coming and it's going to be transformative. It's going to be fun. It's going to be enchanting. I can't wait. So that's one thing. Then there's another thing, several things happening this month, and I will be revealing that on my reels, giving you hints here on the podcast. But if you're a visual learner like me and you just love visuals, go over to my Instagram, get the insight, get the sneak peeks and connect with me there. And as far as the podcast is concerned, we have some series coming your way. Should I tell you guys the topic? Okay. I'll tell you one of the two topics that are coming your way. Actually, you know what? No, I won't. I'm going to leave you in suspense. All right. I talked enough. All right. So let's dive into the topic. All right. You're ready for change. Now what? So we are officially in spring. We have dealt with a lot of things in the winter season, and now with spring here, bringing that new energy, especially with the full moon in Libra that just happened. There are a lot of not upbringings, but things that are being uprooted. That's what I'm trying to say. Uprooted to the point where the soil, if you will, is fresh. Like we're just digging up new areas in our spiritual garden to plant seeds. And in other areas, we're taking up some of this root because now that plant became a weed and we need to get it out, right? Or maybe the plant now died. Its life cycle is over. And now we got to take care of that. And that's representative of situations, people in our lives. Okay, something has come to an end, right? You can't replant a dead flower. It's done. So now you have to properly dispose of it. And the same thing with weeds, okay? You got to just take it out, you know. No, oh, well, maybe it can just grow here. No, it has to go, right? No assumptions. And we got to be ready for this change. We work so hard regarding personal growth to the point where sometimes the work, the struggle gets romanticized sometimes on social media. And I don't see as many people talking about that point of no return where you accept the opportunity, where you do actually take that leap. And I know I talk about shadow work. I know I talk about personal growth and transformation. And I do talk about, I don't even want to say highs and lows, but I do talk about the not so pretty side of it. And that needs to be acknowledged because that's what happens. It's not all rainbows and glitter. That would be cool, but it's not. And so I want to talk about that point again. Like once you cross that line, once you walk through the door, I think it's the red pill. If it's the blue, I apologize. It's been a while since I have seen the Matrix. You know, it's like now we're going down that rabbit hole. That's it. Okay. What happens then? And this is why I'm glad that I decided to make this episode right here, right now, because this is the point of no return on multiple levels. Okay. This is the end of March. We're now about to enter the second quarter of the year. Okay. So what has happened to you the last 3 months in January, or excuse me, the last 3 months of this quarter, right? Let's take some time to reflect on that, right? Because a lot of work was done there. So that's on that level. Another level is looking at it from our point of how are we feeling internally? This pandemic for some people has given them a little extra time to think about what they truly want in life, what they truly desire, what they truly need, what are they willing to stand up for, what are they willing to no longer take, and so forth. And again, the list goes on. So I have 10 ways to help you really prepare for this change where you are at the point where you're saying, fuck yeah, hell yeah, let's do it. Okay. Where you're at that point where you are feeling so whole, so complete, so I don't know how all this is going to work out. I have that in vision. I don't know the in between. This feels right. I gotta do it. I'm going to take this leap. I have to do this for me, for my future, because past me took care of everything so I could get to where I'm at now. Now, current me has to take care of everything because the future me is counting on it. And I think about it like this, and I've seen this in multiple movies where someone goes back in time and, you know, they almost die. So their future them, which is present day them, starts to fade away a little bit. It's like, oh no, what's happening? And, you know, the person who's well versed in time travel goes, oh my gosh, you're dying. You're dying. They need to save you or you won't exist now because you're going to die back then. You know, so I feel like that when we don't follow our intuition, when we don't take that calculated risk, and some risks won't be calculated. Sometimes it's one of those just go for it type of things. And other times it can be calculated, right? Because that's life. You know, so to work on that is what I'm saying. Let's get to the tips, because I have so much more that I would love to say, but I'm like, you know what? Let's get to the tips. All right. So 1, you need to remind yourself that it is the right path. Okay. It is the right path. There are many paths for you to take, but this is the one that you chose. So don't worry about, oh, what if I did that? What if I did this? Pick a path, stick to it, but always be flexible. So let's say the change is a new job. Stick to that plan. What do you need to do right now to help you phase out of your current job and into a job or a career that you really want to pursue? Does that mean going back to school? If so, does your job pay for that? Right? Make the job work for you. Will it take a little time? Sure. Yeah. But we're used to that. You know, people who listen to this podcast, many of you are over 25. Many of you are over 30. So what I'm saying is we come from an era where, okay, cell phones didn't exist at one time. The internet was very slow, and it was really at school or in the office space. It wasn't in homes just yet. Okay. For some of you, the computer took up the whole room. Okay. And then we adapted every single time technology changed, from slow, literally slow dial-up to supersonic fiber optics, you know, fiber optics. Okay. These brackets on the back of my teeth have been ruining my speech. Okay. That, and then I told I had a Philadelphian accent. I don't know exactly how that sounds. In my head, it sounds all right. So bear with me. I apologize when some words just don't come out right. But anyway, so we adapt. And what I'm saying is we can withstand putting in the work for a couple of extra months to reach our goal, right? I'm noticing with some of the younger people, and, you know, social media has changed over the years, and instant gratification has become more and more prevalent. So the thought of utilizing your job to pay for you to go back to school, and it might take you a year or 2 years, is like, oh my gosh. And hey, look, if you find a better way, by all means, pursue that. But I'm just saying, a lot of times employers will pay for your education or some other form of training, right? So take those classes, right? And then come up with a plan. How much money do you need to save? How much money do you have currently? Do you want to take off for a year? Do you just want to take off for 6 months? And then, 3 months into the 6 months, you start looking for another job. Like, what do you want to do? Or are you able to save enough money where you can cover your expenses and your lifestyle for a year, and then you go back to work? Okay. So again, back to number one, it is the right path. That change that you're feeling, that you're envisioning, that you're desiring. Oh, that's it right there. Now you got to walk down it. And it's not always straight. It's going to be serpentine. Okay. You might have to walk over a hill, over a stream. All right. But remember, be flexible. And that also goes with the understanding of, say you want to manifest. And I'm using this just as an example because this is about as cool as it's going to get. So you want to manifest a metallic green color bike, 10-speed mountain bike, whatever, right? Like all the trimmings. And you want to get it at a discount. Let's say a bike like that costs $1,000 and you want to get it for $500. Okay. So you go out to brunch and you're walking past the store. You're a little tipsy. And you say to your girlfriends, "Oh my gosh, look at that bike. It's for $500, but it's lime green. It's not metallic green. I don't know." That's your bike. Maybe it wasn't meant for you to get the metallic green and it needed to be lime green because the person who you want to attract in your life, favorite color is a lime green, and they're going to see that hottie on that bike, right? Because it's going to catch that person's eye. All right. So little things like that. Keep that in mind. Number 2, pay attention to signs and symbols. I cannot begin to tell you how many times I had something on my mind. And when I'm on Instagram, I get a bajillion signs, a bajillion. Okay. Meaning I would think of something I want to manifest, or I'm on a path to manifesting it. I've seen, coins appear on the floor when I was just in that room and nothing was there. Feathers at random places and the wind isn't even blowing. All right. And it's like stuck on the ground. That look like it's been poof. I even been hit with a feather one time. And I looked up, I'm like, what the heck? Really, there were no feathers on the ground. It was a white feather. It came out of nowhere, like just lightly touched my forehead. I'm looking up and around. I'm just like, okay. So anyway, my Instagram is filled with a lot of empowering pages, magical pages, like just good stuff. So social media for me, at least on Instagram, is not filled with crazy drama stuff. Not the bad crazy. I like the good crazy, not the bad crazy. And so I kept getting, I kept seeing posts that stated, you're almost close to manifesting. Hang in there. Good news tomorrow. It's coming. Everything's working in your favor. I can't even make this up. It's so crazy because I go on Instagram to look at mostly dog videos. I mean, for real, if you look at my phone and I post this on my personal Facebook page and you see the hours on Instagram, I'm just thinking to myself, 4 hours in one day doing what? Oh, dog videos. So what I'm saying is I don't go looking for certain things because we have this, it's called RAS or something like that, where when you want something so badly, your brain gets triggered to really only see that. I don't want to go down a scientific path because I haven't really studied it in its entirety. But what I was going to say was that's probably one of the reasons why when someone falls in love, all they can, really see are other lovey-dovey things. They're searching for it. They're in love, things like that. But when you're not searching for it, and you see one post like, oh, okay, yeah, okay, good things happening. Yeah, I know. Duh, I work on manifestation. Then you see another post. hanging there is coming your way. Then you see another post. Abundance is calling, pick up. It's like, okay, wait a minute now. Like, I know I follow empowering pages, but you guys are saying the same thing, or you guys like paraphrasing, you know, as opposed to one's talking about crystals, one's talking about breath work, one's talking about Reiki. That's usually the mixture I would see, or some occultism or something about witches. That's usually the mix. And of course, throwing some puppies and some makeup, platforms in there. And we got a good mix. But whenever I'm really focused on something, like mentally visualizing it, feeling it, all that, then boom, I get the hang in there. You're almost there. All right. So pay attention to these signs or symbols. You see something once. Okay. You see something twice. You see the third time. All right. Ring the bells. And that's also, just as a side note, about having a bit of healthy skepticism. Oh my gosh, these brackets. I apologize. Okay. Healthy skepticism. Because sometimes, in the words of Sigmund Freud, a cigar is just a cigar. All right. And sometimes, you know, the numbers are just numbers. Okay. It's when we are in tune with ourselves, our higher selves, and what's around us, and we get that feeling, right? That, oh, okay. All right. Thank you, spirit guides. Thank you. That's how you know the difference, right? As opposed to your check being, you know, $33.33, you know. It's like, oh, okay, cool. And that tip, that compared to $33.33, and you were thinking about your crush. It's like, oh my gosh, the ascendant masters are helping me with my love life. Woo. All right. So that's number 2. Number 3, do not let negative talk create an environment for you to talk yourself out of that change that you worked so hard for. So what does that look like? I give you an examples because it's what I love to do. Let's say you hit a plateau in working out, and you at this point really should hire a trainer. And you're thinking, I don't really want to invest the money. I don't know. This person is probably going to be really tough. I don't know, man. Maybe I'll just stay right here for a little while. I don't know. But meanwhile, you're seeing commercials, even throwback commercials of Billy Blanks. You know, you're seeing all this workout stuff on Instagram. You're seeing couples doing these crazy workouts that you're thinking, okay, I mean, you can do that, but why? All right. You know, you start seeing these crazy things. And then you start to see discounts about a trainer or a special promo because maybe someone who you've been following just started their training program and they want people in. You never know how this goes. So you might think, oh, you know, that's extra money. Oh, they're going to tell me what to eat. I don't know. Should I really be doing that? I mean, I could just look this up myself, right? But here's the thing with trainers, like coaches or anybody who's helping someone, they see your blind spots. They motivate you when you are like, I'm good. They switch up the game for you in ways that you couldn't or wouldn't think about because that's not your profession. Sure, you spent some time doing research, but that's not something that you live, breathe, you know, think about 24/7, not 24/7, but enough where it's your profession. You just don't. And so that negative talk can talk you out of it. And then, you know, 3 months go by like a blink of an eye. I mean, here we are, last day of March. 3 months later, summer's here, and you gain a little bit of weight because you plateaued and you didn't know what else to do. So you kind of like, and you got a little laxed. And that's what happened. And I'm not saying gaining weight is a bad thing. What I'm saying is, you know, you had that vision, that need, that want, that desire for that change. that next level, which is now hiring a trainer, and you taught yourself out of it. Whereas the positive way would have been, how can I afford this trainer? Let me look at my expenses. I have an Excel spreadsheet of my expenses. Okay. I have some that are, I have the columns where it's all fixed expenses, and some that are slightly variable or once a year subscriptions, things like that. But the positive way would be to, let me check my expenses. Let me see what I can cut back on. Maybe I had this subscription that I haven't used in really a year. So let me cancel that. And look, you may save $20, you may save 30, you may save $50, but it's the feeling that comes along with that too, right? That calling back your power, money's not leaking. And that's an energetic way of tapping into money to catch the money leaks. All right. That subscription you don't care about, but you let go. And yeah, maybe you might save $120 at the end of the year, and it's not a big deal, but at the same time, that's still money leaking that doesn't have to leak, right? So I'm going to tighten up that faucet where you're calling back your money, and then you're rerouting it to other places. And then you could look at, other ways you can afford it. Maybe it's more hours at work, or maybe it's hiring a coach hourly as opposed to buying the package, like the 4-week or 6-week package. Maybe they have different tiers, right? Or maybe that trainer is not for you. Maybe there's another trainer that's more in your price range, right? There are many ways you can look at this, and then you can work your way up. If you really want to work with that trainer, then you can work your way up and say, now I can afford you. I really want to work with you. Are you available? I'm not saying you have to tell them that whole speech, but you get what I'm saying. So don't let the negative side of you out talk you. Okay. Don't even entertain that. Okay. Acknowledge it being there, and then just go away. Okay. When I say don't entertain, what I mean is don't entertain the worst possible scenario that can happen. Now, sometimes in some situations, I do tell people, all right, I would ask them, what do you think is the worst possible thing that can happen? Why? Because we talk through that, and then what we see is that's really not the case. That's just our internal mechanism to really protect us. Like, oh, don't do that. This is safe over here. It's like dealing with fire. You get burnt, but instead of learning about fire and how to protect yourself while working with fire, you just stay away from it. Okay. So next is visualize. I am all about visualization magic, which is, and people have different terms for it, but really it is you. And I take a lot of my clients through this as well. It's you visualizing your desire to the T. I mean, the smells, the feels, who's there, what you're wearing, the colors, everything. So when it comes to that change, that point of no return, walking past the threshold, you need to make sure you're visualizing yourself stepping into that new career, that new city, that new living space, that new relationship, that new whatever it is. You have to really feel it, visualize it, everything. Okay? Let your imagination run wild. I understand that depending on the education system we were brought up in, creativity for some people, unfortunately, was turned all the way down. They were told not to do certain things, myself included. Sometimes I couldn't doodle. And, it's one of those things where I'm a highly creative person. And it was really rough because my notebooks were being graded. Yes, people. My note taking was serious. Okay. Serious. I had a ruler. It had to be like 1.5 inch from the red line to the margin, something like that. I don't even remember it completely now, but I had to have a ruler to create an outline. Roman numeral 1, A, lowercase a, number 1, like all of that. Okay. So I couldn't be creative that way. Couldn't be expressive. Okay. I was still retaining all the knowledge. I just doodled. So what I'm saying is, I get that for some people, using your imagination might be a little bit difficult, but I'm urging you to practice. You might need to get started by listening to music to help you, loosen up a little bit. You may want to dance a little bit, or at least tap your foot, clap your hand, watch something that has a lot of like HD colors. Like maybe you want to pull up a video meditation on YouTube, something that just really appeals to the visual side of you and the artistic side of you. Now, if you're someone who is thinking, Tia, well, I feel really creative and expressive when I'm planting, I'm working in my garden, do that first. Whatever you do that is expressive, do that first, and then come visualize. Okay? To the T. I mean it. If you want to, if that change for you, that point of no return where you met the person, like, this is the person, you just feel it, right? Visualize the date to the T. You guys get coffee at, a local coffee shop. What's the name of the coffee shop? Dan and Jenny's coffee shop. And you get your coffee black. He gets his coffee with 2 sugars, black coffee, 2 sugars. Yours is just straight black. You get a couple of scones. He gets the poppy seed bagel, lightly toasted with cream cheese. Okay. You guys are talking. He has on a blue shirt, button up, neat jeans, shoes, black belt because the belt color has to match the shoe color. All right. He's a pretty chill guy. Hair is combed back, a little slick back, not overly slicked, not too greasy looking, nothing like that. It has a nice shine to it. He has sapphire blue eyes. He looks nice, or he has green eyes. He has brown eyes, whatever. You see what I'm saying? So really visualize what he looks like, or she, or whomever. Right? Now, what are you wearing? Are you wearing a dress? Is it red? Is it blue? Is it purple? Is it black? What are your shoes? What perfume are you wearing? What does he smell like? Does he smell like Tom Ford cologne? Like what does he smell like? Like, okay. So all this, what does this place look like? Is it like a hipster place? Is it a classy cafe spot? What does it look like? All right. The more you visualize, the more you create your reality. And studies have shown this as well, where scientists had Olympians and other athletes, work out as if they were at the Olympics, and their brain really couldn't tell the difference. I mean, they ran tests, and when they get in that mental state of, oh, okay, this is me when I'm at the Olympics, as opposed to me playing, like just regular pickup ball, just regular basketball. It doesn't really matter who wins. No one's going to win anything. Or street hockey, like you're just with your friends, and it's not a big deal because no one's going to win a trophy or anything. It's not televised. It's, for fun. That's a different mindset, and their body works differently than when they mentally think they're at the Olympics. They just were doing better. So your mind can't tell the difference. Your body really can't tell the difference because your mind is telling your body that you're there. So just visualize, and you're bringing more of that into your life. I cannot stress this enough. The more I visualize, and again, it might have slight differences. Like maybe you visualize a red dress, but you end up wearing a purple one. Oh, wow. Like that's not important. What's important is that you put that out there in the universe by visualizing it and visualizing about it often. You can always add more. maybe when you first visualize this, the cafe is kind of quiet. The second time is a little chatter in the background because you feel like, oh, what are people listening to our conversation? Okay, well, they had their own conversation, so they're not listening to us. So get a feel for that. Make it fun. Number 5, start cleaning up. All right. So we touched a little bit on the magical. So we went from mundane, look at the path, and then we went a little magical with the visualization, and now we're back to the mundane. You got to clean up your environment. That includes people. So, like I said, we're in spring. You don't have to wait till spring to do spring cleaning, but this is a great time to open the windows in the house, front and back, let that air flow through so that way it can just take care of everything. That's one way to clean up the energetic energy there. The air just gets stale. You have to open up the windows and let that fresh air in. Even if it's wintertime, I used to love just opening the door and letting that cool air come in just for a little bit because, it gets a little bit too cold. But anyway, clean up anything that you haven't used in over a year. Throw it away, donate it, sell it, whatever is easier for you. I know some people would say, just sell all your old stuff. You can make like $300 in a day. Yeah, but is that easy for you? Like, does that work for you? Maybe you're busy. Maybe you're juggling kids or grandkids in a job. You don't have time to sit there and sell your items. Or maybe you do. Maybe you have a Saturday, sunny afternoon where you can do that. You can find a local flea market, take your stuff there, sell it. Or sometimes you can sell it in front of your home or whatever the case may be. But you got to get rid of the old to make room for the new, because you're not going to be able to fit but so much new stuff when you got a lot of old stuff there. Like, yeah, you can bring in some new things, but remember, we are on a track of great change. We are ready. This is the point of no return, and we can't have old lingering stuff around if we want to have all this great change, this freedom, creating this desirable, magical life. We just can't have a bunch of this old stuff around. Old stuff that's not helping. Okay. I'm not saying like old stuff such as the toys or, something, or like some clothing you want to pass down to your children, right? I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about, articles of clothing that have holes in them that don't fit you anymore. You haven't worn them in over a year. Old books that just, you're over and done. It was good during that time and now you're done. People who no longer are serving your higher purpose. And it's not about using people. It's about understanding the value people bring in your life, just like you bring value in other lives. So that means you have to distance yourself from certain people. The job, think about that. Where do you need to clean up there? Is there somewhere where you have to focus a little bit more so that way you can implement your strategy of leaving because that's what you want to do? Or maybe you want to get a promotion there. So what do you have to clean up at your job to make you more of a suitable candidate? Okay. You see what I'm saying? What needs to be cleaned? Get it out. All right. Don't overthink it. Remember, at the top of this episode, the time was 12:34 a.m. 1, 2, 3, 4. Keep it simple. Don't overdo it. Definitely don't overthink this process. All right. I'm not saying you got to Marie Kondo it, because she said like no more than 30 books. I'm a Ravenclaw first and foremost. Like, I am not ever going to have less than 30 books. So I'm sorry. Blessings to her, but I am not Marie Kondoing anything to that extreme. Like, that's extreme for me. All right. And next, number 6 is to embody it. So visualization is the prerequisite for this. When you are visualizing this change that you want to happen, that you've been feeling it, you got a quick glimpse, you got a vision, right? But now you have to visualize it. Okay. Well, now I need you to embody it. So while you throwing out those old clothes, old you, what's the new you look like? Because remember, our past self got us this far. And what we're going to do now is going to help the future us. So what does the future you look like? And how can you embody that right now? Right now. Is it a hairstyle? Is it getting your nails done? Is it wearing something? Is it speaking differently? Meaning the way you talk to yourself, that positive talk. And I'm not saying you have to be happy-go-lucky all the time. No. What I'm saying is if you cuss, do that. Right? When you're talking. I'm not saying that it has to be super clean, rated G. No, what I'm saying is this change that you're looking forward to, that you have one foot up and you're stepping over the threshold and you're about to bring the other foot over. What does that look like completely? Because I give you an example. With me, that is a tattooed badass goddess. And there's a whole list that comes with that. And I'm so proud of who I have become and who I am becoming that I just want to jump out my skin. I'm like, I can't wait to show the world all this stuff I have. Right? I can't wait. I want to tell you guys everything at one time. I want to talk about everything, but I understand that there's a timeline that needs to happen and things need to unravel, right? And in due time, the whole story will be relayed. But it starts, part of that starts with understanding who I want to embody. And it's that fearless goddess. And that requires a lot of work. Multiple levels. Okay, I had to get my teeth fixed, right? And I wrote a blog about that. So some people will say, oh, I had to get your teeth fixed. Yeah, I did, because if I didn't, it would have cracked and I prevented a hot mess. Let's leave it at that. But that was part of the embodying process for me, to have that nice smile, straight white teeth, pearly whites, as they say, just ding. Okay. But also like a bit of a devilish smile, like, what I'm saying is this is you being true to yourself. Okay. Now I understand when you're at work, you probably aren't going to dress the way you truly want to because you're in a different setting. I understand that. I get it. What I'm talking about are after hours, your free time. What does that look like? Is that you getting different color wigs? Is that you, going to different spots, meeting different people? What does that look like for you? Because I really need you to embody that. You're not going to be everyone's cup of tea. And who cares? I'd rather be someone's shot of vodka. Anyway, I say vodka because I drink vodka. I know the saying is shot of tequila. I'm a vodka woman, so we're going to go with vodka. Yeah. And I need to just make my own brand of vodka. Goddess vodka. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, what does that look like for you? What is it? Unapologetically, from a fearless standpoint, even if right now you're thinking, geez, I don't know. You have to start somewhere. Remember, we are at this point right now where we have to take that step forward. We did not come this far to turn around. We did not come this far to stop right here. That's crazy. That's craziness. The more you work on yourself and embody that, the more you will learn about yourself. Things that you wouldn't even think about, because you're peeling back the layers. You're unlearning a lot of things. You're saying, screw you, society, for telling me how I should live, how I should look, how I should speak, what I should be doing, and all that other stuff that is just obsolete and should actually never have existed anyway. And I'm not talking about the things like don't kill your neighbor, don't steal from your neighbor. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about women shouldn't wear skirts above their knee, or the length of the skirt shouldn't be above the knee. What? Oh my God, your bra strap's showing. Oh my God, that hair color. Or oh my God, or women shouldn't. It's like, you can't keep up. You can't. So screw it. Do what works for you, but what does that look like? And then take your time with it. There's no rush here. And this is coming from someone who's impatient. I'd rather it happen quickly, but every time it didn't happen quickly, I learned exactly to the fullest extent what I needed to learn so I could move to the next level and then tackle on something else. And then I was able to go back and take on what I wanted to take on then, but I wasn't ready. It's just like when you're playing a game, you're at level 10 and someone else is at level 15 and you got to go do some task and come back when you're at level like 17. It's like that. So what does that look like for you? And a lot of times it's going to be you saying, screw it, I just got to do it. And you are going to find out people are going to appreciate that. Some people aren't going to like it. Who cares? It's not for them. You embodying you will help someone else who you will never meet. It will help someone who you will meet. And it sets the tone for so many things in your life. Your kids are going to see it. Your grandkids are going to see it. Your lover may be like, oh my God, this is like, I got like my person back again. You know, it's so many things are going to happen and I'm excited for you. All right. Number 7, only tell your ride or die people. This change, this next level, this vision, please don't tell everyone. Now, I know it's one of those things where you're excited. And yes, some people say, you know, you got to speak it into existence. You know, just go around and say, I'm going to be a millionaire. I'm going to own that home. I'm going to get that car. That's fine. But keep in mind that not everyone is rooting for you. Keep in mind that some people want to protect you and it's going to come off as them looking like haters. And some people just don't care. In this day and age, not caring or disagreeing is considered a hater. And that sucks. And I don't know how many times I had to defend myself online. No, I am not hating. First of all, I don't even like it. I tell people I have to like something first in order to hate it, right? Because that's what you want. You're a hater because you're jealous. You want what someone has. Like, I don't even want what you have. Just start off. So therefore, I'm not a hater. I don't even care. I just observe something and I'm talking about what I observe and I don't like it. It's that simple. So that's what I'm saying is that some people won't care because they don't care. And some people will be haters. But you have to take note of that. And you have to do this in a ruthless manner. Do not tell your dreams, like your overall, like your big crazy dreams to everyone, because that energy will disrupt your process, especially if you're still learning to manifest, especially if you haven't learned protection magic. This is why I am so firm about protection magic. And I start off teaching people a lot of times with protection magic, because you have to protect what you put out there, because people are going to start seeing these changes, right? Whether you lose weight or you gain weight to get more fit, whether you start changing your clothes, you get more confident, you have more boundaries. People are going to start to notice. Make no mistake about that, but they don't have to know your end goal, your end game. Now I'm thinking about Marvel. They don't have to know your end game. Okay. So what you want to do is, and again, this is what worked for me. This is what worked for my clients, is that there's usually one or two people, like the saying goes, no more than a handful, right? Like I could count on my fingers, I mean, right? So usually 1, 2, 3 people. It's usually their spouse, their best friend, like their sister or something like that. Like it's usually like, again, just a few people who they can be vulnerable around. these people want them to succeed no matter what, the ride or die. They usually know the end game. Like, here's what I want to do. Here's the overall vision. Here's blah, 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 blah. Okay. They are going to send all this energy your way to help you succeed. Whether that's networking, where they can connect you with someone, they're not making any guarantees. They're just going to say, hey, I know someone who blah, blah, does this. Okay. They may help you by investing in you, your company, what you want to do, many ways. That's what you want. Because the people who don't want you to embrace this change, whether they realize it or not, they're going to send negative energy your way. And that's going to show up as things breaking down, huge delays, like just not even reasonable, just crazy. All right. Sometimes not even happening because something else has to, it shows up in so many ways. You get sick and you don't want that. Okay. So be ruthless with whom you share your dreams with. Yeah, I got a little proper with whom, you share your dreams. Okay. Yeah, because I ended the other sentence with. I'm like, okay, that defeated the purpose of me doing that. Anyway, don't feel guilty about this. It's okay. If someone does ask you what you're up to, just say, oh, just working on staying hydrated, staying busy as best I can, staying healthy. This pandemic is crazy. Change the topic. They don't need to know. You don't owe them any explanation. Okay. Just focus on you. They'll see the end game, but they don't need to see the process because they don't care. They're not going to help you, and you don't need someone throwing a wrench into your plans. So telling your ride or die to people who you can be vulnerable around, that's your support system. And on days where you just feel like, oh man, I don't know. Like, I went down this rabbit hole. This is crazy. So many things are happening. They're going to be there to help you get centered, to check up on you. Again, the support system. All right. And also, they will help you figure some things out. Sometimes talking about things out loud helps. All right. Document it. Here's the fun part. You can do your video logs, vlogs. You can write about it. This is great to see your progression. This is also something that you can help you check in with yourself. You're going to see this video later and you're going to think, wow, that was crazy. Little did I know 2 months after that, I had a six-figure launch, or 2 months after that, I got my dream home. 2 months after that, I met the love of my life. 2 months after that, I got pregnant. So many things happened. 2 months after that, I moved to another country. Crazy, So what I'm saying is, it's very cool. It's quite amazing to look back and think, wow, little did I know. Wow, I've done so much work. Wow, that was a crazy risk. Wow, I was on the cuffs. It's like this, it's a show on Netflix. It's called Games That Made Us, or Games That Changed Us, something like that. And it talked about the creation of Nintendo and Sega, Pac-Man. I was watching with my friends and we were going crazy in the living room. We just couldn't believe it because, we grew up playing Nintendo and Sega, but as adults, to look back and have the host interview the people who created Sonic, Mario, Mortal Kombat. I know I got really excited about that. I love Mortal Kombat. Favorite characters are Sindel and Kitana. And side note, I'm telling you, one of my goals, one day I will own a yacht and I'm going to name it Kitana. I think there's another yacht named Kitana. I'll figure it out, but it's going to be that or Sindel. It's going to be like Goddess Kitana. So just hang tight. We'll get there in a couple of years. But anyway, so yeah, we were going crazy. What's the other one? Street Fighter. Then they interviewed the people who created Doom, and we were just going crazy because when those creators were being interviewed, a lot of them were taking chances. They had no idea. They had no idea how crazy it was going to take off. Like, yeah, they made forecasts and projections, and of course they wanted to do well. But I mean, for example, when Doom came out, like the server crashed. There was like, we weren't prepared. We were prepared, but it took off. And that's what I'm saying. The more you go down that path, which is number one, and more things get revealed to you. Like I was saying earlier, you peel back the layers, you're unlearning things, you're doing. You don't even know how it's going to turn out. It's going to turn out so much more beautiful than you can ever imagine. And that's what happened with them. Crazy looking back at it, how it's just like some things almost didn't happen. Crazy. Little did they know. That's why I'm just using that phrase. Little did I know. Little did they know. Little will you know until you look back. And that documentation process is part of your legacy. And you can make a full-fledged YouTube video about it, a book about it. So many ways you can break it down to a blog series, create a podcast. You can repurpose that and be an inspiration to others. Even when you think right now, like, Tia, come on, like, really, I'm telling you, give it some time. But this is true. But it's also good for you because this change is something that for years to come, you're going to appreciate what you've done. You're going to be like Snoop Dogg. I want to thank me for me, which leads me to number 9. Thank your previous self. I talked about this on my Instagram. I have seen so many posts say, what would you write to your younger self? Just some advice. Well, what about thanking your previous self? Because especially when we're younger, we don't know a lot of things. And we get best prepared for the world based on our environment, right? We take parts of our environment with us wherever we go, what we learn, how we navigate, our schooling, parts of that, the friends we meet. We take a little bit of everything mixed up in a pie and boom, we got our traits, personalities, likes, it, all this stuff, right? And of course, there's other things involved too, but for this episode, I'm just going to stick with that, right? There's so much involved. And when we make decisions when we're younger, we're making it based on what we know at the time. As the saying goes, when you know more, or how's it go? When you know better, you do better. But what about thanking our previous selves for doing what we've done with the information we had and the resources we had at that time? And look how far we have come. Remember a time when you thought like, man, I don't know if I can do this. And you did it and you had less resources and now you have more resources and you're doubting yourself. You're like, man, I don't know. It's like, wait a minute. How many months and years have went by since the last time you done something where you're just like, I don't know if I can do it. We get better and better and better each year. Right? And yes, life does give us a roundhouse kick every now and then. I can attest to that. With the surgeries I had on my foot and things like that. But overall, what I'm saying is we put a lot of work into ourselves, whether that's a time where we were just in survival mode, or we were just in a personal empowerment, a personal rebirth of sorts. There's so much work that we've done and we need to give ourselves credit. So as you put one foot over the threshold and you're about to take your other foot, you don't even have to turn your head around. You can close your eyes for a few seconds and say, thank you, and move on. because we really need to thank our previous self. We worked so hard under crazy circumstances, and now we're dealing with a pandemic and its variants. All right. Give ourselves a little credit. All right. I mean, for real, I am just so proud of people who take the chance and show up as their true selves and are able to be grateful for who they are, thank themselves. There's something so special about that. Like it really just touches my soul. Every time I see someone who's showing up the best they can, I'm like, yes, keep going. You can do this. It may feel like you can't, but trust me, you can. All the more reason to thank your previous self. You did the best you could with the resources and information you had at the time. There is no shame in that. So thank your previous self. Honor your previous self. Have a picture of your previous self if you want to. Just honor it. Honor it. And last but not least, praise your current self, because you still have to do the work. Like right now, you're listening to me talk with these brackets in my mouth. Oh boy. I feel like I need to do a completely separate episode about the transformation of my teeth at this point. It's just so crazy. I can't. Anyway, praising our current self. This has to do with maintenance. Okay. So, and a lot falls underneath this. Self-care. So whether you like to journal, you like to, express your gratitude, what you're grateful for. Excuse me. This also has to do with, if you like to get manicures and pedicures, if you like to get your hair done, if the way you treat yourself is by getting your hair done once a month or bi-weekly, and do that. If it's just honoring where you're at right now, do that. Being aware of who you are and what you're about to do, what you're doing is powerful, because no one can step in and tell you what you shouldn't be doing, what you should be doing, and things like that. And again, there's always a little caveat to it. Like, yes, when some people tell you certain things like, oh, you should be looking at your finances. You should be looking at your finances, or you should be, focusing on stability, job stability, so you can support yourself. That is something you should look at. So I'm not excluding the necessities. I just want to be clear with that, because sometimes in the spiritual world, some people feel like everything could go out the window. It's like, no, you should still practice good hygiene. I'm just saying, like, some things, okay? All right. Okay. So praise your current self. Your current self is doing the work right now for your future self. Never forget, every move you make is for the future you. Every single one. And it doesn't mean that you don't have a good time. It just means that you're investing in yourself. If you buy a bond, right, you have that bond for, I don't know, it was like, let's say you get a 10-year bond and it matures after 10 years. But let's say you got that bond when you were born, and let's say your godmother gave you, got a bond, and then when you turned 10, she gave it to him, like, okay, look, it matured. Anything you want to do after that is up to you, but you should probably keep it. And then the interest builds up, blah, blah, blah. You're going to have so much more money depending on what, the dollar value, starting from 0 to 10 years old and beyond, as opposed to getting a bond when you're 40 10 years later, 50, and then it matures. And again, nothing wrong with it. I'm just saying that when you think about it, the move you make now is for the future. Getting a bond from your godmother when you were a newborn matures in 10 years. Guess what? You're only 10 years old. You got the rest of your life to let that bond. Well, again, it's an example. What I'm saying is you can cash it in. So many things to do with it. I'm trying to remember the exact lingo because it's been years since I used terminology with a bond, but you get what I'm saying. So really think about that. Praise your current self. What are you eating? All right. And this doesn't mean that I'm saying start eating all plant-based foods, because that doesn't work for everyone. What I'm saying is, are you putting more junk into your body than nutrients? Okay. Because let's face it, we're going to get a pizza every now and then, right? We're going to get some non-healthy food every now and then. We're going to be on a road trip, and we're probably going to get a bag of Doritos on the road trip. Okay. So it's whatever. Plus, like I said, I'm never giving up Pepsi. Okay. I mean, you had to pay me like $100 million to not drink Pepsi. So just be more conscious of what you're doing each and every day, and understand that what you do today is going to impact you later, right? You eat a tub of ice cream now, you're going to see the pounds later, right? That's how that works. So just keep that in mind. Praise who you are, where you're at now. Really honor that. Thank your previous self and keep it moving. You wonderful spiritual being. All right. Let's do a quick recap, because I know I threw in a lot of stories in between these numbers. Okay. Or points rather. So number 1 is it's the right path, meaning that vision that was given to you, it's correct. That feeling you get is correct. Just follow through and be flexible. All right. Pay attention to the signs and symbols. Do not let negative talk you out of this change. That's number 3. Number 4 is visualize, visualize, visualize. Number 5 is to start cleaning up. Number 6 is to embody it. Number 7 is to only tell your ride or die people your full plan, or mostly your plan. Is at your discretion. Document it. Thank your previous self and praise your current self. All right. That's what I had for you. That's what I'm passionate about. Don't forget, on my Instagram tomorrow, I am making an announcement. You don't want to miss it. I'm so excited. And that wraps up March 2021. Ooh, April, here we come. I'm sending you lots of love. I'm rooting for you as always, sending you all the good vibes. Remember to be kind to yourself. Blessings until next time. As always, Spiritual Trailblazer, thank you for tuning in. Do make sure to stop by and visit me at tiamariejohnson.com. Also, don't forget to subscribe. Last but not least, be kind to yourself. I'm rooting for you, and I'm sending you so many blessings. Until next time.